The Road Not Taken is perhaps one of the most famous American poems ever written. It's largely quoted when people are talking about changes in their lives and big events that are happening. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long I stood, and look down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for the passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I marked the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling you this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So largely this poem is very much about imagery, painting this scene of a yellow wood. So for me it speaks of fall. He talks about leaves being on the ground. And two equally worn roads. One they wanted wear, but really they had been worn, he says, about the same in the second stanza. So he's telling us that these are two, for the most part, equal paths, and he's trying to choose which one. And he says, I marked the first for another day, but he acknowledges it's highly unlikely he'll ever come back, because once we head one direction, we just keep going in that direction, and it's highly unlikely that we ever go back. So really this poem is a very powerful metaphor for life, and has how we make our decisions. There is no going back in time and choosing another route. When you choose your high school or your college or your degree, there really isn't going back and redoing that and getting that time back. And he acknowledges that. And really these final three lines of this poem are often interpreted in an interesting way. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and it has made all the difference. This poem gets misinterpreted, I think, a lot, because it is more than just about life. It's also about the distress of not knowing where the other road would take us, and that fear of having made a mistake. And he says, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could. And so really there is this sense of agony in the beginning of this poem of making this decision. And when we're talking about the metaphor of life, it can be incredibly agonizing to make a decision. But the point is that we do. I have a nice image for you here of a road diverged in a yellow, well, I think it's more of a green road, but a yellowing road. And it really kind of gives us this concept of, okay, which path? Where do I go, and what does that mean? And not just in a literal sense, but in a metaphorical sense. What does it mean when we make our decisions? And is every decision a splitting of the road? Or are we dramatizing it too much? And are these roads not as important as we're talking about? So that's The Road Not Taken. If you have any questions, let me know.